I haven't done the fresh slides, so the dates will not be proper.
Shall I start?
Ji.
Sadashiva Samadhamma Shankaracharya Madhyama Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavanto Punar Punaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Punaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadvitavastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. श्लोक कौन से वर्सेस?
We'll do 16 to 18.
16 to 18.
Evam pravartitam chakram
Evam pravartitam chakram
nanuvartayati hayaha
nanuvartayati hayaha
aghayurindriya ramaha
aghayurindriya ramaha
mogham partha sajivati
mogam partha sajivati
yastvat maratireva syat
yasvat maratirev syat
atmatriptascha manavaha
atmatriptascha manavaha
atmanyeva cha santushtaha
atmanyeva cha santushtaha
tasya karyam na vidyate
tasyam kajam na vidyate
naiva tasya kritenarthaha
naiva tasya kritenarthaha
na kriteneha kaschana
na kriteneha kaschana
na chasya sarvabhuteshu
na chasya sarvabhuteshu
kaschidardhavyapashrayah
kasitarya vipashrayah.
Thank you. So we are seeing that Bhagwan is the last reason that he has said to Arjuna and to all of us is that even for the sake of the creation that I have set forth in motion on the principles of yajna, at least continue to do your duties for the preservation, for the sustenance, for creation. That itself will become your duty, that itself will become your mandatory karma to be done. That itself will be your contribution that you must make, which will be doing karma for my sake. So when he said, do karmas for my sake, what do we mean by my sake? How do you do karmas for his sake? So he gave us those reasons, keeping your own swadharma in mind, uh, keeping the your own swadharma in mind, keeping the fact that uh, it's your duty, that is as a role in your life, you have to do it, and also as a part of yajna, you do it. And he showed us the contrast of it, that if you do not live a life based on proportionately becoming a contributor to creation in your capacity, then you will live collecting papam, and ultimately a life will be wasted. So, this, when he says for my own sake, incidentally, in the 8th chapter, he is going to answer Arjun's question, where Arjun had asked, what is Adibhutam, what is Adiyajnam, what is Adidaivam, what is Adhyatmam. These 4 questions based on 7th chapter, Bhagwan had used these terms, and answering that, Adiyajnam, Yajna, what is that which is called following Yajna? What is it that is truly Adi Yajna? Adi Yajna means, how do you identify Adi Yajna? What will it be to say that this is Yajna? Where is Yajna? Krishna said there in the 4th verse, he says, Aham eva atra dehe. Here in this body, deha britam, the ones who are endowed having a body, here in this body, I remain as the Adi Yajna, the receiver of your Yajna. In this body, I am the one who receives your oblations. Adi Yajna Aham Eva. Atra, here, Dehe, in this body, I am as Adi Yajna, the one who receives the offerings. So Adi Daiva is outside. In this verse, he says Adi Bhutam is the external perishable world. Kshara Bhavaha, that which has perishability, is Adi Bhutam. And Adi Daivam is this Purusha, Uttama Purusha, that he's going to talk of in the 11th verse, the Vishwarupa, the calling himself as the Purusha, Adi Purusha. That is the Adi Daivam. And Adi Yajna, here in this body, I receive. So, in the 4th chapter, when a lot of yajnas will come as specific applications as well, one of them is, we all know in our stomach, we have this Jathara Agni, which is called the fire in the stomach, which helps to digest the food. That Jatara Agni is Vaishvanaraha Agni, looking at it as Vaishvanaraha. So every time you take in the offering of the food, it is with an idea that it is being received by the Vaishvanaraha. So he says, I am here sitting in the body, receiving your oblations. Just to make a connection, because when we come to the 8th chapter, you'll be able to connect it back. So I made a comment here for reference for the 3rd chapter and the 4th chapter. When the context of yajna comes, the picture will get more complete at that time. So he says now in these verses, till the 16th verse, as I said yesterday, Bhagwan has given us reasons for following Karam Yoga. Now in the 17th and the 18th verse, he's showing us the contrast. He's showing us once again by making a connection. Shankaracharya here says, in this manner, the chakram that has been set forth, the wheel of life, the wheel of creation, the wheel which sustains life, that has been set forth. So everyone must stick to doing their karmas. Everybody should. In Gita, for all of us who asks all the time what is to be applied, what is there to take back home with us in this knowledge after the entire 18 chapters, what is that one nishtha at least that one should establish oneself in, is the attitude or the conviction that whatever is my karmas to be done, that fall within my nature, that fall within my set of obligations, may I never shy away from them. May I never run away from them. May I never justify their non performance. At least I keep doing that. So, that being the major message, naturally the question is, since the import has been everybody should do their karmas, Shankaracharya brings up the sambandha between 16th verse and the 17th and the 18th verse by putting up a question there. He says, since this is mandatory for everyone, does it mean that sarvena anuvartaniyam, everybody should follow it? Does it mean that there is no exception to it? That is answered here by saying that those who are Atmavit, knowers of Atma, who have developed Vairagyam for all forms of bhoga, mentioned here through the Brihadaranyaka Shruti, who have now understood the mithyatvam of the creation and have the 3 kinds of Eshnas, desires, Putra, Vitta, and Loka Eshna. They have now gotten disinterest in the gains and they're just performing their duties for the sake of Sharir Yatra. They who are Atma Jnana Nishtha, they don't have to perform the karmas, but Vyatirekena, those who are Anatma with Anatma Jnanis. Anatma Jnani means who are seeing the Anatma Jagat as real. For them, karma is mandatory. To show this, now there are the 2 verses, 17th and 18th, again they come together. Yastvat maratireva syat आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टः तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थः नाकृतेनेह कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थव्यपाश्रयः. Excuse me. So he says, Yaha tu atma ratihi eva syat. The first clause. Yaha, whoever, is atma ratihi, is reveling in his own self, in his own atma, has atma sukh, अपने आत्म सुख में रम रहा है, who is reveling in his own nature of आनंद स्वभाव, रतिहि एव स्यात्, उसी में, that eva means, Shankara is putting here, na vishayeshu yasya. He is not reveling in vishaya. Vishaya means indriya vishaya, means sense pleasures. So a person who's able to dwell in their own atma sukha and is not dependent upon indriya sukha, indriya vishaya bhoga, such a one, then that manav, that person, atma triptaha cha, is also content by his own self, is tripta. Tripta means संतुष्ट, इससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं. Shankara here gives the example of na anna rasadinam. Na anna rasa means, for all of us, if we are hungry, then what is that we look forward to? Anna rasa, the rasa of annam, satiation. So when my hunger gets satiated, what do I say? Tripta hua. I have got satisfied now. And this anna rasa is a symbolic for all other senses as well. Means my indriyas are always looking for some form of a pleasure seeking. It is always restless to get some pleasure or the other. My mind has a restlessness. It wants the pleasure of company. It wants the pleasure of relations. It wants the pleasure of, in Hindi it's a right word, उसको भावनाओं की भूख है. इंद्रियों को अपने भोग की भूख है. अन्न रस आदि, that आदि is what, etc. So कान को अपने शब्दों का भूख है. रस इंद्रिय को अपने अन्न का रस का भूख है, etc. मन को अपनी भावनाओं का रस है. बुद्धि को अपनी different ways in which it can remain excited, different topics that it can involve, indulge in. बुद्धि को एक अपने रस का तृप्ति चाहिए. Here he says, the one who has tripti without dependence on any of these, atma triptaha, independent of all these involvements, manavaha, such a person, manushyaha. Shankara, of course, says sannyasi, means he's now got vairagyam. He's not looking for sukh, indriya sukh. Such a one, atmani eva cha santushtah. He is also satisfied by his own self. How is that santoshaha? Shankara says, bahya artha labhe sarvasya bhavati. All of us in avidya, those who don't have atmagyan, we are looking for bahya labh, gains from external world, for our santosh, for our santushti, for our um, satisfaction, contentment. We are looking for gains from external world for us to be content. Such a person, na apeksha, anapeksha. He has no dependence on bahya artha labha. From anything from external source. He has no dependence on that. Atmani eva santushtah. He is santusht by his own self in his own self. Sarvatah vita trishnaha iti etat. Sarvatah, everywhere he can be, he remains, he is present, engaged in life. But vita trishnaha, trishna is gone. Without trishna, he has no trishna. Such a one. Anybody recollects any verse that is similar to this that we have done so far? '15? Which 15? Chapter 2:15? No. Where
In
else?
BPD chapter 2, when he describes the qualities of a Muni or
Sthita Pragna.
yes,
Correct. He is Atma Triptaha, he is Atma Santushtaha, Atma Ratihi. When all his desires are gone, Atmani eva tushtaha. That tushtaha we said is santushtaha. He is content by his own self. When all the desires are gone from the mind, manogatan, then he is santushta. Such a one is called sthita prajna. Then all these characteristics that were seen. And we'll come to this just now. So, such a one who is Atma Rati, Atma Tripta, and Atma Santushtaha. These are the three qualifying words used as if same state. It's not a different state, but it's the same inner knowledge that one is established in. When one is able to be content within oneself, by oneself, then such a person is karyam, tasya karyam na vidyate. He has no action to do. कुछ करना नहीं है उसको. Yes, 56. He has no action to do. Na karyam vidyate. When you have reached a place where you can be by your own self content in Atmagyan, he has nothing to do then. Now, here, what is it that we are all finding happiness from? When our senses are engaged in the world, verse 62, chapter 2, Dhyayataha Vishayan Pumsaha. Through constant dwelling on the anandam that one has got from the sense pleasure, the desire to have more of it starts developing, and it puts us in a realm of bhog ke piche jana. It puts us in a realm of karma. So, what is our karma all dependent on? A presupposition that I am seeking happiness, and that seeking happiness is whatever be my very first impression that I can recollect. It's like a sanskar, it's an impression, a sense pleasure which gave me some happiness, excitement of the senses, which I conclude that it is coming from those sense objects. Newly born children, uh, just a few months old, maybe days old, months old, very vague things give them this burst of laughter. You just do peekaboo also and they can laugh. They can really have a hearty laugh. So much joy they experience. What is this joy really speaking? Senses have triggered something. There is an impression within, and that impression is triggered. You feel that it is coming because of that action from the outside world, and that is what has become the cause of your happiness. In avidya, we attribute it to the fulfillment of the desire or the object from outside. But truly speaking, the anandam that is there in your reflected in your own antakaranam, atma sukham, that is reflected in the antakaranam, that sukham, in avidya, we don't recognize the source of that sukham, so we transfer it on the object and we conclude that it is because of the object that I am happy. But for a one who has Atma Gyan, such people obviously can very clearly see through discernment, through proper understanding and vivek, they have understood their nature. Where does this sukham lie? Where does this happiness lie? Where is it sourced? Where is it आधारित कहाँ है ये आनंद कहाँ है? Because if it was in the object, if it was in the vishayas, what would have happened? Everybody would have got it, and I would have got it every time I had that object, contact with the object. But it doesn't happen so. So I realize that my dependence on the object which I'm attributing to my happiness, a jnani places that happiness in the right sthan where it is. He's located. It's in his in Atma. In Atma is the sthan of that Ananda. So Atmani eva cha santushtah. There he has no work to do. Na karyam vidyate, because there are no desires to fulfill. हमारा कर्म क्यों है? That's the important point to understand. Why are we to remain in karma? Why are we to continue doing what we are supposed to do? Because we are not sitting in Atmani eva, Atmana santushtaha. What do these people do? In the same antakaranam, even if there is a vague thought, restlessness comes in, they just simply sit by themselves in their own Atma Sukh and they let that pass away because the mithyatvam of it is certain. So far, okay?
Yes.
Ji Gita.
So now in the 18th verse, he says, Na eva tasya kritena arthaha. Na eva. Naiva. Na eva. इसके लिए तस्य, for such a one who is an atma ratihi, atma triptah, atma santushtah, for such a one, na eva kritena arthaha. There is nothing to be done. कुछ पाने के लिए नहीं है. न अकृतेन इह कश्चन. Neither is he in a state where he is avoiding doing anything. अकृतेन इह. यहाँ कुछ ऐसा है ही नहीं that he has to do or he is avoiding. There is nothing that is left to be done. Kashchana, kuch bhi. Na akritena iha, here in this world. जो नहीं किया वो करना है, ऐसा कुछ है ही नहीं. और कुछ करना है ऐसा भी कुछ नहीं है. न च अस्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चित् अर्थ व्यपाश्रयः. आश्रयः. He has no ashray, no dependency on any person, any being, sarva bhuteshu, on anyone. He does not have any dependent because there is nothing left to be done that he has not, that is left as a fuel inside to pursue. So, tasya, who's that tasya here? Paramatma ratehe. Atma ratehe means now this Atman is Brahman. Paramatma ratehe. He is reveling in the Paramatma Swarupam. Kritena karmana arthaha prayojanam asti. There is no prayojanam for any karma left. Astu tarhi akritena akaranena. Is there anything that will be not having done if you do not do what you are supposed to do? The flaw of, the sin of, the papam of akarana, not doing what you're supposed to do. That papam in specific is called pratyavaya papam. Pratyavaya papam comes in the form of atma hani. Here Shankara says, it will come in the form of atma hani, lakshanaha. प्रत्यवाय का लक्षण है कि वो आपको नुकसान करता है. आपकी सिचुएशन, आपकी स्थिति, आपकी कुछ फल ऐसा मैनिफेस्ट होता है जो आपका ही नुकसान करता है. इट वर्क्स अगेंस्ट यू. सो डिफिकल्टीज एक्सेट्रा दैट अराइज इन लाइफ, दैट comes because of avoiding your obligatory duties, not performing your obligatory duties. You have the accumulation of that sin as if, which means you didn't do your nitya karma. What we saw in the last class, the Panch Mahayajnas were the nitya karmas, and what were they doing? What were they helping to do?
Chitta Shuddhi,
Chitta Shuddhi.
Shuddhi.
And immediately, in the long run, Chitta Shuddhi, you've done Nishkam. But what is it immediately helpful? Yesterday we said that it helps in the balancing. Otherwise, unknowingly, we would keep on accumulating all kinds of, correct, all kinds of papa karma, because there is too much of um, imbalance that can create because of injury that gets caused in various forms unknowingly. So, the Panchamahayajnas were helping us to balance that. That would mean you are accumulating that particular balance to cancel out the effect of your debt that you would accumulate is your Nitya Karma. So, if you do not do your Nitya Karmas, akritena, nahi karne se, pratyavaya akhyah, what is called pratyavaya, which is anarthaha. Will you not have that? Will he not have that because he's not doing anything? So Shankara is answering, in case someone thinks that he doesn't do anything, will he not get pratyavaya? Na, no. Akritena iha loke kashana kaschit api pratyavaya prapti rupaha atmahani lakshana va naiva asti. For him it is not there. Why? Because sarva bhuteshu brahma adi sthavaranteshu bhuteshu, right from Brahman to Sthavaram, all living beings and stones, all of them, this jiva, this atmajnani has nothing as a prayojanam. Prayojana nimitta kriya sadhya vyapashraya. He has no specific ashraya of anything as sadhya karma that he has to accomplish, for which he needs certain sadhan. Therefore, he has no pratyavaya also accumulated. So, except for these two, and here Shankara now gives this beautiful sentence concluding the two verses, na tvam etasmin. You are not in that position, O Arjuna. Huh? Which position? Sarvataha samplutodaka sthaniye. 46th verse, second chapter. What was that samplutodaka? Udaka, where water is everywhere. What are the small desires and its fulfillment meaning to him? Nothing. So he is reveling in Atmarati. What is Vishay Sukh to him? Nothing. But O Arjun, na tvam etasmin, you are not in this manner. Samyak darshane vartase. Vartase, रहते हो उस सम्यक दर्शन में. What is samyak darshan? Ek darshan. What is that ek darshan? Can anybody say that?
I am Brahmana.
Absolutely wonderful. Excellent. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. This Jiva Buddhi is demolished, is gone, is corrected. The mithyatvam of that Buddhi is recognized. So he has Samyak Darshan. O Arjun, you are not in that sthiti. You do not enjoy the state of being in that one darshan. Correct? I am Brahman. You don't have that. Therefore, since you don't have it, therefore, what should you do? Tasmat. Therefore, you should asaktaha, remaining asakta, detached from your fruits at least. Satatam, constantly, ever. Karyam karma samachara. Remain engaged in doing what is to be done. जो कार्यम कर्म है करने के लिए है, समाचर, be engaged in doing what you're supposed to do. Asaktaha hi acharan karma. Remaining doing the karmas, but with asakti, unattached, remaining doing karma. Param apnoti purushaha. person will gain Param. He will attain Param. He will attain Paramatma. He will attain his own Atma Vidya. Therefore, so here in the 19th verse, he is concluding the whole topic of Karam Yoga. Arjun had asked, what is Shreyas? I'm asking you, what is Shreyas for me? I want to take sannyas. In your second chapter that we heard, I got this impression that you are saying sannyas, karma sannyas is a superior state, is a better state for Atmagyan. I aspire for Shreyas, but why are you telling me to do karma? And if you go slowly, step by step, every verse from 4th to 19th, Bhagwan's answer, he's given in details now. Why, O Arjuna, for you karma is mandatory? Because that sthiti of sthita prajna, which here in 17th and 18th verse he again says, that is not your antakaranam. That is not your sthiti. Tasmat asaktaha. Therefore, you act constantly doing what you ought to do. Then from 20th verse, Krishna is going to give a few more reasons why karma ought to be taken. These are Laukik reasons. But before that, there is a very beautiful, in-depth, I'll say in-depth, knowledge that is showing us the sthiti of a ज्ञानी, उसकी अंतकरण की स्थिति के stages. They come in Yoga Vashisht. Madhusudana Saraswati brings them up in the context of the 18th verse that we've just concluded. Yoga Vashisht, most of us would know, is Vashisht, Rishi Vashisht, giving Atma Vidya to Sri Ram. And there he says that, I don't know where to start from. There's so much of a background that goes. Please start from here only. I just take the verse. He says, the Brahmavit, whoever knows himself, that Brahmavit saptaka bhedena nirupitaha, Vashishtena. By Vashisht, he gives 7 stages, sapta bheda, 7 differentiators of Brahmavit. Means he is a jnani, generalized, spoken atmarati, atmatripti, atmasantushti. But what are further, if you have to see in details उसके अंतकरण में कैसे क्या हो रहा है, Yoga Vashisht explains that. He says, Jnana Bhumihi Shubhechakhya Prathama Parikirtita. These are verses, they can be sung, of course, it's in a meter. We are just going to read it at this moment. Vicharana Dvitiya Jnana Bhumihi Shubhechakhya Prathama. Shubhechakhya Prathama. I must have done it somewhere. Oh, okay. Vicharana Dvitiya. Second stage. What is the first stage? Shubhecha. What is the second stage? Vicharana. What is the third stage? Tanu Manasa. That's the third stage. Sattva Pattihi Chaturthi. Asamsaktihi Namika. This is the same. Let me remove this. पदार्थ भावनी षष्ठी, सप्तमी तुर्यगा, स्मृता मीन स्मृति में कहा है, सप्तमी तुर्यगा. So what are the stages? Shubhecha, Vicharana, Tanumanasa, Sattvapattihi, Padartha Bhavini, and Turyaga. He explains each one further. What is that which is Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka Adi Purasara, preceding, having Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka, Phala Paryavasaini Moksha Ichha Prathama. Because of Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka, he has Moksha Ichha, Shubhecha. The first stage is you find yourself with a desire for moksha. How did you have the desire? Because Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaha. In Hindi, the translation is very good. नित्य अनित्य वस्तु विवेक आदि से आरंभ होकर फल से परिणत होने वाली, means you have no specific desire, but there is only one phal ichha, if you may call it, which is moksha ichha. That is your first stage. Because of that moksha ichha, in another place he says you can have tivra ichha, you will have manda ichha, and you have a madhyama ichha. Tivra, madhyama, manda. मंद इच्छा मीन्स कभी कभी एक वैराग्य आता है, कभी कभी मन में इच्छा आ जाती है, व्हाट इज ऑल दिस, सम विवेक शक्ति ऑपरेट्स इन अस, व्हाट इज लाइफ, व्हाट इज डेथ, व्हाट इज rebirth, have I done enough in this birth, am I doing what I ought to be doing, and there is interest in knowing the subject, learning the knowledge pertaining to Atma Vidya for its own sake, not because it's going to solve some problems and it's going to make you a better qualified in certain field of activity. No, you have a genuine interest to learn Vedanta Shastra. You seek it because there is this real desire, moksha ichha. That is the first stage. Because of moksha ichha, what will happen? Tataha, then Guru upasritya. Upasritya means आप जाओगे, पास जाओगे किसी गुरु के. You will seek a guru. For what? Vedanta Vakya Vichara. Only for Vedanta Vakya Vichara. You will seek guru for Vedanta Vakya Shravanam, Manana, Atmakaha. You will do Shravanam of Vedanta Vakya with Guru Upasritya, and on that Shravanam you will do Mananam. That is the second stage. What was the second stage here? Vicharana. So what is in Vicharana coming? In Vicharana comes your that Shubhecha that you have, you are ready to pursue it now. You take a plunge, you take a jump. Means now I need to know. As Shastra says, if your clothes are on fire, then you don't sit and think, should I douse it? Should I find source of water? रहने देते हैं अभी, बाद में देख लेंगे, कल कर लेंगे. Let me finish this duty first. Let me do all these thoughts. If they are coming, then that is manda and madhyam. But for a one whose moksha ichha has become tivra, वो फिर अब ये सब नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं सोचते. Even if there is anything, that's why he's putting it in that category where he has no karma left to be done. I hope you can see the connection. Why are we taking this up? Because 17th and 18th verse, Krishna says, for those who can revel in themselves in Atma Gyan, they have no karma to do. Through the help of this portion, you see the stage from where you have no karma to do. What is that? Tivra moksha ichha. When your moksha ichha has so much strength in it, that you are not sitting and now waiting ki I have this duty, I have that duty, let me look after this, or who will do this, where will I get my food and water from, who will, nothing. Your mind is engaged only with a sense of urgency, and that urgency is just a similar urgency as someone whose clothes are on fire, and they will have no thinking contrary of saying postponement or waiting or aram say, nothing. There is that urgency of water source to be found. That urgency with which they go for Vedanta Vakya. फिर उस पर विचार means Shravanam Mananam. That is Vicharana, second stage. Then after Mananam comes Nididhyasana. Tataha Nididhyasana Abhyasena. Through the practice, abhyas se, bar abhyas se. So whatever is heard and whatever is reflected and whatever you've got convinced on intellectually also, but by habit, our own mind having its latent impressions, and we slip back into that restlessness or jiva bhav again, abhyasena. This person sticks to doing abhyas of what? Correction, auto correction of those thoughts. In what manner will they do auto correction? Abide back into their own source of Atma. And that thought will come and go. They will not identify with it. That nididhyasana abhyasena manasa, where the mind ekagrataya has got ekagrata, sukshma vastu grahana yogyatvam, and the mind through that ekagrata has the capacity to understand, ग्रहण करते हैं सूक्ष्म वस्तु को भी. And what is that सूक्ष्म वस्तु here? Ati सूक्ष्म वस्तु is Atma. So the topic relating towards it, the subtlety of thinking, they are able to receive, they are able to hold that knowledge. Nididhyasana abhyasena, ekagrata, mind has an ekagrata. Sukshma vastu grahana yogyatvam is the tritiya stage. What was the tritiya? Tanu manasa. Tanu manasa incidentally would also mean their mind has now become very thin. Tanu means thin hona, thinning away. It's become very, the stream of thoughts pertaining to Jivatvam and the Jagat as real has thinned away. What stream is very thin? That's a thin stream towards Anatma. That is the third stage, Ekagrata. Now, Sukshma Vastu Grahana Yogyatva. Etat Bhumika Traya. These three stages, Etat Bhumika Trayam, these three stages so far spoken of, are still sadhana rupa. They are still in the stages of sadhana. That sadhana rupam, जो अभी भी साधन हो रहा है, साधना हो रही है, yogi bhihi, the yogis would call, means those who are in um, pursuit of jnanam, that yogi, not the yoga wale yogi, the yogi who is joining with his own nature, those yogis are calling these three stages as Jagrat Avastha. Why am I bringing this? Is if by some bhagyam, if our bhagyam continues, and if we ever land up together studying Mandukya, you will understand this very well then. There's a lot of misrepresentation that has come out of these stages in even understanding of the Mandukya. Therefore, we are doing this over here now. Even if you understand a little bit from this, it'll be worthy. I am presuming there'll be more than little understood because it's fairly clear otherwise. But just in case, don't worry if you do not completely get it. Just hearing it twice, thrice, it'll settle down. What is it that he's talking? In these three stages means up to having the desire for moksha, going to a guru and learning in a proper manner, a teacher who knows Adhyaropa Apavad means what is the technique that the Shastras used to dissolve away the avidya of the Shishya. How do you burn away means hearing should be a praman that your avidya gets destroyed. That's the skill. That alone can be a guru. Everybody else will only be teachers. But a guru means having that atmajnani and knowing the technique of imparting the knowledge with which the listener's avidya is destroyed. And the listener is because he has Shamadama Adi Shataka now, Nitya Vastu Vivek, he is already done. So the listener is qualified also. Therefore, from here onwards, Shravana Manana Nididhyasan, these are still sadhana rupam. But what is important is Jagrat Avastha Uchyate. It is called Jagrat Avastha. This is your waking state. What do we call waking state?
Sannyas, the sansar stage.
Sansar state. What do we call waking state is this. जुड़े हुए शरीर के साथ इंद्रियों के साथ जुड़े हुए विषयों का भोग करने को हम जागृत कह रहे हैं. I have woken up, I have woken up, I have woken up. This waking up state that avidya may be called waking up state, Upanishads will call it our sleep state. सोए हैं अभी.
69th verse, chapter 2, right?
Sorry?
69th verse, chapter 2, Ya Nisha Sarva.
Absolutely correct. Very good. Very good. Yes. Yanisha sarvabhuteshu. Yasyam jagrati bhutani tasyam yasyam jagrati bhutani yanisha sarvabhutanam sarvabhutanam yasyam jagrati bhutani tasyam
Jagrati Sayyami, Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani, Sa Nisha Pashyato.
Pashyato munehe. Correct. Absolutely. So what is these three states is Jagrat Avastha. There is a Pathantaram. Pathantaram means two different texts. There could be a printing error in one of them. This book said Bhedena Jagataha Bhanat. Another book would say Abhedena Jagataha Bhanat. There is a difference in meaning, but we leave it over there. Means you are seeing the Jagat still with some sort of a differentiation. There is still some differentiation that is there. This is said, Yog Vashisht is telling Rama, Bhumika Tritayam Tu Etat Rama. Hey Ram. He is addressing Hey Ram. This is Sambodhan, that's a put the exclamation mark. Hey Ram, Bhumika Tritayam. These three. तत्तु एतत् जागृति इति स्थितम. This is their जागृत अवस्था. इसमें ये जागृत रहते हैं. यथावत भेद बुद्धि ही इदम जगत जागृति दृश्यते. यथावत as is, यथावत भेद बुद्धि. Yathavat means as is Ishvara Srishti, so is seen by them. Anybody remembers the Srishtis that we talk of? There is Jiva Srishti, there is a Ishvara Srishti, and there was a Pratibhasika Srishti. What is a Ishvara Srishti? Ishvara Srishti is common to everybody. As is sun, as is seen by everybody, recognized by everybody as sun, etc. Mountains, rivers, everything is seen as is. Jiva Srishti is your own, apni hi kalpit. Pratibhasika Srishti is where you are imposing subjectivity on an objective world. Your own personal likes and dislikes, your own prejudices, your own, अपनी सोच आप कहीं और आरोपित करके उसको वैसे देख रहे हो. Just as Duryodhana is seeing Krishna as what? Is it?
Manipulator.
Sorry?
Manipulator.
Can't hear
Someone who
you.
manipulator. Someone who manipulates.
Manipulator. Is it Yathavat? You get the meaning Yathavat? As is, jaisa hai, vaisa. Seeing things
No.
as they are. No. He is imposing on him his own mind. That is called Pratibhasika Satta. So there is a Jiva Srishti, your own individual Srishti. Then there is one that you are imposing, Pratibhasika Satta, and there is Ishvara Srishti, which is common. When a person has come to hearing Vedanta Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam as is to be, they see things as they are. Jaisi hai vaisi. That means it's very fascinating. Even this much when one recognizes why a lot of Mahatmas just go silent after some time. Because as is, later on in another chapter, he's going to say, Guna Guneshu Vartante. 14th chapter, I think. Guna Guneshu Vartante. They will see gunas operating in gunas. Yathavat, जिसके जैसे हैं वैसा दिखता है. There is no personal imposition of values and subjective mind. When such a one through Nididhyasan has an ekagra mind, there they are now able to see things as they are. Jagat mein abhi bhi bhed hai, therefore this bhedena seems to go with this verse. But for whatever reason, someone has said abhedena, maybe it's a printing error there. He says here, yathavat bhed buddhi hi idam jagat. This jagat is seen as is. यथावत जितने भेद जैसे हैं वैसे ही वो देख पाता है. Exactly as is. That sense of reality, that sense of recognition of things as they are. That is called Jagrati. Drishyate. He sees. He sees there. Then what? Tataha Vedanta Vakya Trivikalpakaha. This 3 stages. ब्रह्म आत्मैक्य साक्षात्कार चतुर्थी भूमिका फल रूपा सत्वापत्ति स्वप्नावस्था उच्यते. So through these, that ekagrata manaha brahma atma sakshatkar is beginning to now happen, means the world he sees as is, but the ekatvam of Brahman and Atman is forming, because of which Phalarupa, because of which Swapna Avastha Uchyate. The world becomes to him the mithyatvam of the world is such that how to us in Swapna Avastha it looks real, but on waking up it is Swapna. To him, that line of solidarity here starts to diminish. Though he sees things as they are, he sees them in their real nature. Swapna Avastha Uchyate. It is like it's Swapna to him. The merging of Swapna and Jagrat, which to us are very demarcated stages. To him, this Jagrat Avastha is Swapna Avastha. It's like it's mithya. So there is no reality. The Swapna to us on waking up, how we dismiss it, to him this world is Swapna Avastha. Sarvasya api jagatah mithya, there he says it. Sarvasya api jagatah mithyattvena sphurana. अंदर से एक स्फुरणम है. स्फुरणम means the knowledge of ekatvam. What would be the English for sfuranam? Enlightens him. Ekdam, there's a enlightens the mithyatvam of the world. And that is the next verse. That is Chaturtha Bhumi Praptaha. Brahmavit iti uchyate. Now, Brahmavit called. Then Panchami, Shashti, Saptami is Jivan Muktehe Avantara Bhedaha. Means now in 5th, 6th and 7th stages. What are the 5th, 6th and 7th stages? Padartha Bhavani. Did he say 7th? Saptami. Asamsaktihi. Chaturthi Syat Tataha Asamsaktihi Namika Padartha Bhavini Shashti. Shashti is Padartha. So this is Panchami. This was, I'm sorry, missed out. Asamsaktihi is where there is no attachment. Namika called, that was the 5th. This was the 6th. And this is the 7th. Saptami, of course, it's written there. Sorry. Turiyak. So 5th, 6th, and 7th, Jivan Mukti. Eva, Avantara Bhedaha. Avantara Bhedaha means incidental. Within them only there is a little difference. And that difference is, here he says, Nirvikalpaka to Savikalpaka, but not as the yogi sees. In his Nirvikalpika Samadhi is not like sitting. In his state, he is walking, seeing everything with that division gone. And Savikalp means now he is established in that Atma Drishti completely. Atma Anand mein he is completely established. That is called Sushuptihi iti uchyate. Sa asamsaktihi iti sushuptihi iti uchyate. Nirvikalpaka samadhi avastha. Sa, that avastha, asamsaktihi iti, what we saw, 5th state, is called sushuptihi iti. Tataha swayam eva vyuthana. Then apne aap hi wo uth jata hai. He remains there like you see it in Ramakrishna's life. He remained in that, reveling in his own mind and thought for a long time, and then suddenly they'll get up. by some latent samskar, they'll get up. And then again back to their own state. Then Brahmavit Varaha. He's Varaha, means he's Brahmavit. Varaha is superior. Avantara Bhed means within them there is this little distinction, keeps excelling over the other, gets better and better. So the one who is able to be in asansaktihi, he remains completely actually detached even from the body. That's why Ramana and Ramakrishna, these are very well known, established in society as being able to abide in that state for very long. There are few other Mahatmas also which are known to be here in this avastha. Complete detachment from the body, nothing. If somebody, first is they wake up themselves, that is one state. Then tataha tat abhyasa paripakena. Then by practice only, constant practice of what? That nididhyasan, I am not this jiva and I am this Brahman. They remain attached. Sangaha with that gyan, that with lot of abhyas over there, paripakya, chirakala avasthayini. For very long they can now remain in Atma Bhav. For very long, chirakal. And this is where they say these, if somebody were to shake them, then they would suddenly, otherwise they'll be in that. Padartha bhavini iti. That is the padartha bhavi. That is called Gada Sushuptihi. What is that? Gada, deep sleep. What is that deep sleep? It's not that they're sleeping. They are asleep to this world. Very good, Divya, that you have connected. They're asleep to all of this world. Deeply asleep here and deeply woken up there. Tataha swayam anuthitasya yoginaha paraprayatnena eva vyutthanat. He says, after that, by his own self, it's difficult for him to get up in this गाढ़ सुषुप्ति पर प्रयत्न कोई और प्रयत्न करके उठाते हैं. I believe in a lot of ashrams like that, old ashrams, not the new ones probably. So much sadhana nobody even lands up doing maybe. But there, when they go into that deep bhav, the disciples would even shake the people to say, eat something for the sake of your body. That way, they were to be shaken up to let them keep the body alive also. Saha ayam Brahma with Variyan. He is now a Brahma with Variyan. The previous one was Brahma with Varaha. Brahma with Varaha. This is Variyan. He's better now. He's come closer and closer to establishment. That's the prajna that second chapter spoke. He's now closer and closer establishing to his own self. And then what? Pancham, that is the verse we are just seeing. Guda sushuptihi kramat patati bhumikam. This is the krama. And then यस्य अस्तु समाधि अवस्थाया न स्वतः न वा परतः व्युत्थितः भवति सर्वथा भेद दर्शन अभावात्. And then through practice it comes that now sarva bheda abhava, there is no bhed left at all, neither by someone's shaking up by themselves, by someone else. There is no change happening. The entire bhed is now gone. Kintu, instead, sarvada tanmaya eva remains tanmaya. Swapna prayatnam antarena eva Parameshwara prerita prana vayu vashat anyaihi nirvahyamanam daihika vyavharaha. Now, whatever Parmeshwara Prerita means, whatever the Prarabdha Vayu is left, Shesha, just for that, up to that much is there. Paripurna Paramananda Ghana Eva. Paripurna. He is now, Purnam is your Atma Swabhav. We have not done that mantra yet. Purnamidam, Purnam, Purnamudachyate. Purnam is Atma Swabhav. Paripurnam. He is completely one in recognition there. All the bhed of this and that is now destroyed. The whole thing is Ishavasya. The whole thing is Brahman. To him, he sees only one. And what is that state? Ananda Ghana. Ananda Ghana. Ghana means भरा हुआ. कुछ और वहां नहीं है but आनंद. आनंद घन एव सर्वतः तिष्ठति. He remains as long as Parmeshwara Prerit Prana Vayu Avashat. Whatever is left, then he lives that rest of the life Anyehi Nirvahyamanam, for the sake of others. Daihika Vyavhara. He does only that much Vyavhara. In Ramana's life, this is very, very, very clear. Just for the sake of others, he will maintain some Daihik Vyavhara. Sa Saptami Turiya Avastha. That is called Turiya Avastha. The Turiya Avastha that people have made deep sleep and waking and dream, and then the fourth, and that fourth state is, this is all incorrect. That is why I wanted to bring this here, so that we understand Turiya word comes from here. It is not another state that he has reached. That Atma Bhav which is here now with all of us, we are all essentially Atma. Non-recognition has put us in this plurality and imposed individuality, and living with Jiva and Pratibhatika Satta, Raga, Dvesha, Ahankari. Where are we? As embroiled in our Jiva Buddhi, conducting Vyavharik Drishti as real. He has now, through Vedanta Vakya Vichar, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana are the only sadhanas. And when he comes to Paripurnam Ananda Ghanam, that Saptami Avastha is not another state. I'll repeat it 1,000,000,000 times, because however much we repeat, it misses us. It's not another state at all. That Paramananda Ghanaha itself is Turiya. Tam Praptau Brahmavid Varishtaha. He is now Brahmavid, who is the highest. Iti Uchita. There is nothing higher now. So there are these three stages, even in 5th, 6th, and 7th. Avantara bhed hai unme. Incidental. Brahmavid, Varaha, Variyan, and Varishtaha. These three stages, which is Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti. As if Turiya, Jagrat and Swapna, Sushupti, Swapna, Sushupti, Gada Sushupti, and Turiya. That is what he says. When one has that stage, now we'll come back to this. Krishna is telling Arjuna, and Shankara completes it for us, that Samyak Darshana, Arjun, you don't have. Therefore, what do? Your practice, your sadhana is where? Where is your sadhana?
In fighting the war.
Sorry?
In fighting the war. In fighting the war.
No. Where is your sadhana?
To make qualify for to qualify
So for what? How?
by doing your karma, by doing your duty, you qualify for
How?
Chitti Shuddhi.
Where is
Can
your
you say like it is starting from Nitya, the first step?
the whole thought flow, if you do it again?
Yeah, like the first stage, it was mentioned in that Madhusudan text that Nitya, Anitya,
Huh.
the first step.
No, we have brought it.
Yeah.
No, okay, but where? See, now last point was Natvam etasmin sarvata sampratodake sthaniye samyak darshane vartase. You are not in that stage. Therefore, tasma, therefore, what should be your sadhana? Okay, karma yoga, yajna, duty, correct. What should be your sadhana? That is karma yoga only, but here specific now connected to the verse straight away in front of you. Asaktaha. Your immediate one should be what? Are you asaktaha? What is कर्म योग का सबसे पहला अंग? फल
फल से जुदा, मतलब फल से अलग हो जाना
और कर्म करते रहना. मन को फल से
कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते.
हाँ, correct. So
फलेषु.
he says tasmat asakta फल त्याग. Excellent. You are now to do फल. पहले वो तो प्रैक्टिस करो. तुम तो कर्म संन्यास की बात कर रहे हो. कर्म संन्यास किसके लिए एप्लीकेबल है? Who can sit like this, the stages we just saw, who can, once you hear Vedanta Shastram, your only job is to reflect on what you have heard, discover your own nature. That neti neti starts to, then you can be freed of karma, because now karma is no prayojan for you. आपको फलों में इच्छा ही नहीं है. You have seen through your knowledge, understanding, that no loka, no phal is nitya. So जो नित्य सुख है ही नहीं किसी कर्म फल में, तो why should I seek them? Therefore, I seek what? I seek nitya phal. And that nitya phal is only Atma Swarup. Therefore, O Arjun, before aspiring for that, if you aspire for that, you have to qualify for that. And to qualify means first, asaktaha, phalasaktaha, phalatyag. And as yesterday, if there was a question, when we keep saying the world is made, Bhagwan has made the creation with yajna, and that tyaga word, that tyag can be confused with as if I have to make a personal sacrifice. It's not a personal sacrifice. That tyag is phala tyag, and it applies everywhere. So if in the performance of your duty, your ahankar is in between, that ahankara tyag. If your attachment to fruit is there, then phala tyag. That's about it all. There's no greater sacrifice that you have to make. You don't have to give up anything at all. You have to give up what binds you to performing your duty. That which binds you, you give up. So beautifully Krishna has now, and through all these acharyas, with their help, with their grace, Shankaracharya and here Madhusud, you get this absolute precise knowledge of knowing that final line. Is that my state, that I should give up doing my karma? No. However difficult it appears, you will have to continue to do what you should do. Ishwar Arpane. He says, for my sake, do it. How? Asaktaha is the first step. Be established in that step first. फल से अपने आप को असक्त करो. एंड फल से कितना सख्त हैं हम, कितने जुड़े हैं हम, कितने अटैच्ड हैं हम फल से. दिस शोज इन एवरीडे लाइफ where we are. We don't have to change positions, we don't have to change our situations, we don't have to change our sthan, we don't have to change anything. Where we live, our attachment to fruit, here we start to give up. Therefore, that asaktaha, Shankara said, Sangha Varjitaha. Satatam Sarvada Karyam Kartavyam Nityam karma, samachara, nirvartaya means keep on remaining in doing what is your kartavya karma, but sangha varjitah. Asaktah hi asmat, because only when you are asaktah and samacharan, doing what you are to do, Ishwarartham, for the sake of Ishvara, karma kurvan, ऐसे कर्म किए हुए, param, moksham, apnoti. A person will get moksham. But because we may think, अरे ये तो सीधा रास्ता दिखता है, बहुत आसान लग रहा है, Shankara says, no, don't mistake. Sattva Shuddhi Dvarena iti arthaha. So through that Nitya Karma, Asaktaha, you will get Sattva Shuddhi. And through Sattva Shuddhi, now you go, you'll have that Mokshicha. Shubhecha will come. Mokshicha, then you'll go to Guru Upasadan. You will have Shravanam Mananam. You will do Nididhyasanam. And then all these stages will fall into place. And once you have come to that first point, Shubhecha, what is the point of speaking here? From Shubhecha, you have karma ka sannyas ka adhikar. Moksha ichha hone se, you are ready to give up everything. Give up is quote unquote, you're not really giving up anything. But you see the falsity of every pursuit and you are in urgent need of atmagyan. And atmagyan cannot be, it's not a miracle that will happen on its own. You'll have Shravanam from a qualified teacher, from a qualified person. Only then that Shravanam can bring about a change in oneself. It'll help one to come to the mark of Mananam and become a Pramanam. Therefore, O Arjun, you do Karma Yoga. Okay? Was it clear today?
Yes, PPG, it was very well explained.
Clear, no? It didn't confuse anybody?
Oh, yes, that
It's very deep.
it
It's very deep.
It's very deep. It's actually because of that, why we went into this aspect is because it will help us understand. वो जो मन में excuse आ जाता है ना कि नहीं करना है, वो excuse तब आता है जब हमारी बुद्धि हमारी स्थिति को ठीक से समझी नहीं. When we are able to see our own present condition, present state, present avastha clearly, then we also have the choicelessness there. We see our choicelessness of our own sadhana. What is it for me to follow? And so,
Because even till today, moksha is still mand only.
it is. Therefore, Gita is meant for everybody, where we live. Because hamara pehla, that's exactly what Arjun is telling, Krishna is telling Arjun, no? पहले फल आसक्ति तो है कि नहीं, पहले ये तो देखो. Did you ever give up फल त्याग? कभी किया फल से त्याग और फिर कर्म किया? क्योंकि जिसने किया है उसको पता है कि उसने किया है, एंड उनको पता है कि शुरू में कितना दुख लगता है, but slowly this is all spiritual
Teaching
journey.
was one doubt I have.
Sorry,
So, in among this, I have one doubt, basically. Among the stages, right? Which one is it where your like Divya and Deeptiji's difference dissolves?
fourth. From fourth it starts to thin away. When he says swapnavat, there it starts to thin away. It doesn't disappear straight away, it thins away. वो अपने में इतना बैठ गए होते हैं कि जागृत भी हम स्वप्न जैसा दिखने लगता है. टैंजिबल लगता नहीं कुछ यहाँ. Okay,
GD. Okay.
so we'll just conclude the class. Om ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथ्वी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
धन्यवाद दीप्ति.
The broadcast of Facebook Live has stopped.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Nikki.